I'll find a way through a cloud of haze. Every day I wept, found how to live through all them cloudy days. You know the mind's a maze with all its mixtures. It's always hard to get the entire scope of the picture. 1080p, that's you other busters, yeah, obsolete. Can't fuck with me, excuse my French, but I'm not discreet. I wear my heart on my sleeve, but I've learned my lesson. I learned 1996, birth one of the greatest weapons untold. I'm destined to reach heights thought I could never see, but foolish thoughts rampage my heart and let me not reach the peaks that's entrusted to me. My belief shatter of past actions. I grieve, but grievance never really matter. It's how I choose to act differently in the coming battles to overcome my limitations and get out my shadow. But it's hard to wade in this water where it was never shallow. Fuck it, let me get the paddles. Fuck that now, let me get this castle. Fuck that now, let me get this battle.
Welcome. Thank you again for coming through. Today we have a review of this new manga that has just been on our plate for the last 7 weeks called The Marshal King. Myself and Crocos sat down and we was like, hey, it's new manga out. We're not really talking about a lot of it and on our podcast that we shoot every Sunday and or Monday, depending on how life be lifing. And we sat down. We agreed upon the Marshal King. The Marshal King is a new manga series that was written and illustrated by Bochi, who is also known for his work for Dr. Stone. The series debuted around February 7th, and it's serialized on Shonen Jump. The synopsis of this manga is the narrative is set in a steampunk Wild West universe. It begins with the notorious outlaw M. Godspeed, whose criminal activities are infamous across the continent. Unexpectedly, a young man named Jim Godspeed, claiming to be M. Godspeed's son, emerges from the harsh desert. He asserts that he has killed his father and carries the corpse to prove it. This proclamation sets off a series of events involving marshals and desperados, blending classic Western themes with steampunk elements. You can go ahead and read this on different platforms, whether it be Viz Media, Shonen Jump, Manga Plus, and Shonen Jump Plus. So let's get rock and rolling with this, Crocos. Your thoughts so far?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's what I like about it is I don't feel like there's that many, like there's Western anime that have definitely come out.
Mm-hmm.
But one that is just like kind of this heavily into like the whole spaghetti Western feel and attitude is, I don't think, at least personally for me, I haven't read anything like that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do just kind of, when I first chapter, when I was reading it, and are we doing spoiler review or spoilers at all?
We gotta go along with it. Just do what we gotta do.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna be spoiling. I'm letting y'all know that. So if you haven't read the first 7 chapters, please pause this and go read the first 7 chapters. But in the first chapter, I was just kind of like, okay, I thought this was just like, I'm like, this is just gonna be like a regular kind of like less sci-fi-ish, more kind of like a homage to a certain culture, that culture being, American Westerns. But what was really cool is like, as you start to progress through the chapters, right, you start getting more of these sci-fi element, and it's kind of like, oh, this is like a sci-fi Western, and it starts off pretty like aggressive. So I was like, all right, I'm really enjoying this, because to get a sci-fi Western where they like not afraid to just kind of have like the combatant and violence and such kind of just happen off rip, I'm like, okay, this could potentially get really, really good. And I could see where it's going, because in the first 7 chapters, it's like, okay, we have the idea like who his father was and what role his father played. And now, if you were to have everything that happened with his, like, you can imagine in your head what his life of his father would have been like, and that could have been his own series in and of itself, with the same premise, everything like that. Now with him being kind of flipped on the other side of the side that his father was on, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know the type of people that he probably going to encounter. It's probably going to be friends who were allies to his father, people who were considered in the same realm, maybe not as strong as his father, but in the same realm as his father. People who are going to potentially get stronger. It's going to be other outlaws that's going to be around our main character's age, who potentially could have power that could rival him. And then on top of that, the last chapter kind of hinted towards this idea of him having allies. Right now, he's trying to kind of it, which, again, that's a Western theme, right? Like, I can see where this is probably gonna have a significant portion where it's the Lone Ranger. He is literally the Lone Ranger.
Pretty much.
He is literally that. Like, this is legit the Lone Ranger. So that's gonna be cool. But then you know that you could probably expect a change in the story at some point because of I don't know names right now. I'm terrible with names.
Well, I know the main character, even though it said it was Jim Godspeed, it's Tsmoov. From what I was reading.
Jimbo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the little pipsqueak.
Oh, Shorty.
Yeah.
What is her name?
I'm gonna call her
Agira.
Okay, so Agira, she hinted towards, I'm gonna get stronger. I'm about to be on your squad because you got this hand cannon. I'll let you get to the hand cannon part because that's a whole nother like. Yeah, I ain't never seen anything like that. It's like a Kamehameha, pause if needed, but it's like a Kamehameha out of a weapon, which is like, have I seen things like that before? Yes, but not like this. Not like this. And the handle of it is like, I don't know if you peeped that, but the handle of it is like a katana handle. And I'm like, all right, they about to be on something different with this series. Like, it's just even the quirkiness, like, and things like that is very interesting, and it's definitely locking me in. It's making me want to see, just because of the like elements of it, and for what I'm kind of imagining in my head will be elements that we'll see in the future, because again, you got to think Western, but at the same time it's got that sci-fi element, so it's very, very interesting thinking about like how is that going to unfold as this unfolds. And the more I think about that, the more I'm like, man, I can't wait, or I really do hope at least that this were to get animated to some extent, because it's like that is something that would be just it would be crazy. And then the other part is you brought it up, and I'll also let you talk more about the 6 shots. But here's the thing with manga versus anime, right? In the manga, they could just show the aftermath of that, right? In the anime, probably not going to be the case. You probably going to see all 6 of the shots fired. And it's like, just imagining what the animation would be like on that is very interesting. And again, this is first 7 chapters. We ain't even like, that's just the first 7,
and this is gonna be literally, these 7 chapters is like 2 episodes. You could tell, literally
easy
2 episodes.
So it's like within the first 2 episodes, first episode a little bit more will be more like an introduction, second episode will probably be more like an introduction to the actual special effects and the different things that you can kind of anticipate out of the anime. But like or story I should say in this case, but as we keep progressing in this story, how much is that going to evolve even further? I mean, we already saw something that looked like a final move. Because we know that it takes years off of his life too. Sorry, I already kind of said that part, but I'll let you get more into it in a second. But because we know that it has that caveat, I think they're going to use it as like final move. You know, like it's only something he brings out when it's really needed for him to use it. But even if that's not the case, he still got those arms. Also let you talk more on that. But he still got those arms. It's going to be crazy. And then the other characters that they had, like Shorty, who like super fast, her draw, like the
Mira
draw
Black.
was super fast.
I think her name was Mira.
Yeah, something like that. The names is cool too. I like the names. Even though I will not remember them, and that we just know that's gonna be a fact. I'm gonna have nicknames for every single one of these characters.
Yeah, Shorty.
But yeah, like the quick draw with Mira is, that's gonna improve. Everybody gonna want to get up to speed with Jinmu. So, ooh, that is so close to Jinwoo. I don't like that, but it's okay. Uh,
Well, it's
you
more
know that.
of, I'm gonna be honest, it's giving me either John Woo or John Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm getting out of it. I wasn't even thinking like Jin Woo when they were saying Jin Woo.
Mm-hmm. No, that's honestly, that's like legit. That John Wayne, he's gonna be like in that vanity where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, it's just gonna be really interesting to see how it evolves further. And I mean, it's a shonen anime. I think it
It's
matches everything
hard,
for a
but
shonen.
but that's the thing. He wasn't usually in shonens. They're yelling out their moves. He never really said anything. All you see is him
Mm-mm.
like popping the gun off.
It's got the aesthetic, but that's
Yeah.
the other question is how much is. I feel like this series is 100% gonna be a genre bender
Mm-hmm.
where like the mold of it may fit into that shonen, but some of the tropes that necessarily are in shonen, I don't know. They might have their own. There might be other spins.
Mm-hmm. Now, with me from the beginning, like reading this, it threw me for a loop because I was not expecting for his father to say, "Hey, I'm about to go rob this train. Yo, I
Right.
need you to check for my son. He's on his way to kill me." And you
Mm-hmm.
see the you don't really see the full interaction of his son defeating his father, but you see
Mm-hmm.
him going through the desert carrying this giant cross coffin with his
Mm-hmm.
father's body in it. Note, his father's arms are from the original Marshal King for the
Yep.
power, and he's utilizing this as an outlaw or a desperado, which is like these evil bad guys in this world. And Jim Moo carries this all the way to the Marshall Academy to pretty much show them, hey, I want to be enrolled into this. Yes, he is my daddy, but he ain't my daddy. I took
Mm-hmm.
him out so I can come here. I want to be a marshal. I want to be the hero. I don't want to be a bad guy. And
Yeah.
as he's going into the school, you can see that everybody does not want him there until he meets Mira and Agira, where they're like, he's our classmate. We're going to take
Yep.
care of him. We accept him. There's a reason why he is here. There's a reason why he's here, and we're going to hold him down unless he gives us any means otherwise for us to go and defeat him.
Right.
And he has to show his ability slightly when him and Mira are back to back, not back to back, when they're like facing forward and they have a quick draw contest. She shoots, but what they don't see, you see in like that moment of her trying to flaunt her female side of things
Mm-hmm.
to throw him off his game. It didn't really throw him off his game. He took the gun and shot backwards directly right behind her bullet and hit it as it hit the metal plate that was behind each of them. Um, so you think it's because that she like messed with him, saying, "Hey," like no,
Right.
it wasn't that.
Mm-mm.
And you get more
Nope.
information later on when Agira's like, "Hey, I have my eye on you. I'm going to figure out what your abilities are. Tell me more in that situation why you didn't shoot her because I know you did that on purpose." And
Yeah.
he literally states, "I am not going to kill my comrades. I am out
Mm-mm.
here. I'm only taking out desperados. Everybody thinks that I am the son of M. Godspeed. I am not his son. I am Jim Godspeed. I will be a marshal. I will take care of the world. I will do what I need to do. No desperado is going to stop me." And as it goes on, there's a riot that occurs. Not a riot. Some desperados comes to destroy the school. And
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of that, way before then, they had talked about this crazy gun that the first Marshal King can handle that has the power to take down a whole continent, literally disintegrate a whole continent that's underneath the school, meshed in this crazy metal alloy that you literally you have to be the chosen one to get this item. And the Desperados comes to invade, and Tsmoov goes off in the opposite direction. But in the midst of that, what you don't see is that he actually saved Agira by sacrificing his hand to throw off the trajectory of the bullet that was coming for her head. And in that moment, you can see that he really cares about his comrades. I sacrifice my hand so that you can live.
Yep.
And as we go further, you see that he goes ahead, goes down that basement, and Agira's following him. She's like, nah, I'm not. I told you, I'm not letting you out my sight. I'm trying to figure out who you are. Right. I'm trying to figure out who you are from start to finish. And as he gets down there, one of the Desperados says, hey, we were here to help you steal that gun that the first Marshal King had. Agira is sitting there figuring out, did we just get double crossed? Did he just sneak into the school to be able to do this? It would make sense, but at the same time, like, for your dad to sacrifice his life for you to do that, and they actually show a panel that was supposed to be the plan. Yeah, it was between the dad and the Desperado, but what they don't know is the son wants that gun so that he can be the hero at the end of the day. One key note is when he took his dad out, he didn't take the bounty at all. He gave them the body so that he can prove that I took my dad out and I want to be here. And he did not take that bounty. In the moment where the gentleman's like, the Desperado's like, yo, the plan's going as well. Go and get that gun so we can get out of here and we could be the most powerful people in this land. He said, nah. I am not my father. I am Jim Godspeed. I will be a marshal. Y'all will all be defeated. And all you see is him raise his arms like he was what was homeboy's name from Baki, the father?
Dang, I can't think of it right now.
But literally, when homeboy raises his arms, he said, give me the power. Give me the power so that I may be able to handle what needs to get handled. His dad's arms that was down below Yujirahama. Literally, give me them arms. The arms popped up out of the coffin and landed in his arm, like literally attached to his arms.
Yeah.
And then he was able to get the gun. Now give me the gun. I own this power. Like, I am the chosen one. Like, in that moment,
Was he too OP?
At this point, he was too OP when he walked into school.
When he walked in,
into school, he was OP. But don't get me started. Before that occurred, before he got all those items, let's not talk about the fact that, note, his right hand is damaged. He should not be able to shoot a gun. He is fighting that Desperado after he said that, I am not my daddy's son. I am Tsmoov. Screw you. He took the gun from his left hand, shot it. Boom, 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 boom. 6 shots, 80 centimeters apart. Hit the Desperado's chest where he was wearing some OP armor and damaged it in those 6 shots. Bow, 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 bow. Agira seeing this play through, and she giving you a good explanation for the reader to be able to see it's 80 centimeters apart.
Yep.
Desperado says, hey, I see your hand is damaged. You're not going to be able to do nothing. Your 6 shots that you shot with your left hand didn't really do much. But what he doesn't know is Tsmoov is that he's Himothy.
It's that boy.
He's Himothy the third. He took that right hand. He said, I'm going to shoot this until I feel the pain. Shot 6 bullets with his right hand, all bloodied up. Shot him. And they were 80 centimeters apart from each other. 6 shots. In lightning speed fashion. And did damage to this dude. Got the arms. Punched homeboy in the face. Then got the gun. And then took out the giant mech that the Desperados had to come destroy the school. Come on, son. The man walked through the door like this. Like,
Kamehameha.
Literally.
It's literally a Kamehameha, the Kame weapon.
And it was like this.
It's insane.
And my thing is this: they foreshadow his OP-ness because his father's some crazy
Right.
desperado,
Yep.
one of the most the scariest ones, and he took him out as he was trying to rob a daggone bank. Honestly, I don't know if you could say he won the 1v1 because the train was also attacking the dad, so it's kind of hard to tell
Right.
if he's really that OP or if he just got lucky until we
Yeah.
get a full description, which they probably won't show until maybe 20,
A
30
while.
chapters down the line.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a minute before we really know exactly what happened. And my thing is this though: what's really interesting is that like he's OP. He is. He's 100% OP. But at the same time, I think there's like little things that he like challenging himself to that he maybe didn't know he could do. Like when he shot the bullet backwards, I think he knew that was within his capabilities.
Yep.
There was no threat. There was nothing really going on. But I think when he got his hand mangled and did the 6 shots, I don't think that he didn't know that it was with. I don't think that he like didn't have the confidence that he had the ability to do it. But it was one of those things where he just didn't know he could actually do it until he did it. And I'm wondering if that's how the power like growth that happens with Jimu
Got you.
is gonna happen. Whereas, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's one of those things where he just doesn't know he's actually capable of this.
Now, the crazy thing about it is, let's take a quick deep dive in a couple moments in this comic, in this manga. The first thing you read is from Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. Generations come, generations go, but the earth remains forever. That speaks volume with everything that's coming, because his dad was the first generation. Now his son, who doesn't want to be a desperado, took his dad out, and generations come, generations go, but the earth will remain forever. The idea of marshals and desperados will remain forever, but it's going to end up coming to an end. It's going to end up coming to an end where someone's going to stand on top of the world.
Yeah, because the thing about it, you had to right now what the story has told us, and this is exactly what you're saying, and I completely agree with that. It's actually a really good point.
Which
we started with the Marshal King.
Yeah, and
which
it's
is told gods. Then we get to his father.
Yep.
Godspeed. Now it's like the era of Jim Godspeed.
Meaning, like, so, even right here though, for the second page, this generation belongs to the Desperados. So going back to what you said, that first.
Do you think we'll have another page though where it says like this now?
Nope.
This like when they say this generation belongs to the Desperados, are they talking about right at this moment before Jim did? Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And I think that's going to be, I don't know how long, like this has the potential to go 150, 160 chapters, but will that final page be this generation belongs to the Marshal, to the Desperado,
right,
to the Marshals,
Jim, or just straight up Jim Godspeed,
yeah,
or the new Marshal King, Jim Godspeed. Like, is that gonna be what the ending? It started with the Desperados, ends with not just the Marshals, but a specific Marshal, like another, and that's gonna be this iteration, this world's Marshal King. Like this era's Marshal King, yeah.
And the crazy thing is, like, the art style is ridiculous. It's like he took a step up from Dr. Stone.
Yes.
Like,
yes, that's the vibe it gives. It definitely gives. See, and that's the thing, Dr. Stone. I didn't really get all the way through Dr. Stone, but Dr. Stone was kind of more like the color, environment. That's the vibe that it gave me, where it was just kind of like, as an example, it's getting away from like animation and comic, but Black Panther, right? Like Black Panther didn't really have over the top special effects, but it was a very beautiful movie because of all of the colors that they used, because of the scenery that was used. That's kind of like the vibe Doctor Strange, or not Doctor Strange, Dr. Stone. That's it, right?
Yeah, Dr. Stone.
Yeah, Dr. Stone, that's kind of the vibe that gave me. Whereas this, it's like it takes that same art, but it's giving me the impression that the elements that Dr. Stone didn't necessarily emphasize, this series is in turn whether it is the and for anybody that's watching and they're like, you didn't see all of Dr. Stone, so you don't know. But just the idea of destruction, the idea of chaos, how that is magnified and emphasized, how combat is magnified and emphasized. These are things that I think that this series is going to do, and is very interesting this way. It's going to be really. I'm very excited to see, and in terms of length too. It's really no telling how long this could go based off what we've been given so far. This like you could have like bro, you could have 7, 8 arcs.
Yep.
9. You could have 9, 10. If like you could have arcs behind this. It just depends on how much they feel like writing. But I imagine there's a.
Well, one
and
thing.
that's the thing. Is it just they did kind of talk about, and I can't remember exactly all of the details in that. I'm gonna have to read these chapters. I'd probably need to do that soon before it gets to.
So,
but yeah,
my thing is, how many pages, how many chapters would you like to see? What would be a happy medium? Do you think this could go One Piece, or you think this should be on the level of the 200 pages of like Demon Slayer, 200 chapters like Demon Slayer?
I don't think that I want it to be One Piece, but I don't know right now what we've been given if I want it to be that 200 Demon Slayer pace. Like I think I kind of want it somewhere in potentially. It just depends on how much they can keep me interested and how much can they tell of the story without the theme starting to become too repetitive. But there's so much potential here for the story to have so many different angles. I mean, it really reminds me of like when you first start to read like the first few chapters of Naruto. There's so much that's kind of like at play. Like it's like if you went like the first 7 chapters of Naruto, but it's like, and I'm talking about like not Shippuden, just Naruto. When you those first 7 chapters, you start to understand there's a lot that kind of goes on here in this world, and that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. We haven't met a tenth of the characters.
Yep.
We haven't. The people that we did meet, they're not only could they extend out in terms of which characters is from the school, i.e., give you an example of what I mean. Marshal or Mashley, however you pronounce it. When we first get introduced, right? You don't know how many more characters start coming into play until they start coming into play. Like, oh, this is the junior from here, and this is this person. That could absolutely be the case with this Marshal school, like the academy, where there's other people who are super strong or that end up having their own arcs or end up joining Jimmu, like we know Agnia or whatever her name is, Pipsqueak is. There's so many more people that could just be introduced, and that's just from the school. From the outlaw side, or excuse me, the desperado side, we literally had this was his father, right? But like now, once news this, how many more desperados exactly is it going to send in the direction of Jimmo?
See,
yeah.
My thing is this, like, chapter 1, we got to see pretty much he defeated his father with the foreshadowing and everything going on. But chapter 2, he got swaggy. He spent 2 months living off of insects and cactus water. Carrying his father's gravestone. No, his father had what, a 10 million bond, like bounty hunter, bounty price on his head. And these random marshals were trying to they were marshals pretty much trying to take advantage of him. And they didn't realize how much strength this man had. Note, he was pretty much all skin and bones. All skin and bones.
Yeah.
All skin and bones. and he swagged out. Body 6 shots, took him out with the cross from the coffin.
Yeah, it's kind of giving me One Piece vibes. Like, not even just because it's like bounty and this, but it's just kind of like, remember when you first got introduced to characters like Luffy and Zoro, and it was like they just was like super strong. It was like, I know that your power can go further, but like you are super like crazy as it is, and this is my introduction to you. That's even Ace. That's what this kind of remind me of, where it's just kind of like we know we're gonna see more feats, but the question is, are you gonna see like a Zoro? Are you gonna see an Ace figure? Are you maybe not? You could. It's so early, you really don't know. Guys, more kids. Godspeed could have had more kids
Easily.
Ooh, we really. It's just too early to know. So it's exactly how. I don't know how far they go, and then the thing. Yes, the bounty system is very similar, and it will end up being very similar to the bounty system that we see in one. But it's like you just have no clue, who is gonna be on that bounty list, and exactly like this could go as long as One Piece. This genuine and then that's the other part is, how big is the world gonna be?
The thing is, what
Is
was
it
it?
gonna be like a whole globe worth of Western
It could.
desperados, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that's the case, this story could go on for a minute. We could be reading Marshal King 1000 like you read One Piece 1000.
You know, one
It
thing I
very well could.
do enjoy about like the art style of this, you have moments where in significant moments you can see the color palette changes, so you can actually see the color of the characters, especially Mira's green eyes and the brown eyes of Tsmoov. And you notice it's a very significant moment, and they're having this moment where they draw, and both shots like landed in the same area. And you can see he's like, oh man, I shot my gun backwards, but he did that on purpose. You find out like what, chapter 4? And you can see Agira's like really paying attention to everything that's going on. They talk about the gun. But one key thing is, I noticed though, when they talk about the gun here, they don't talk about the 6 lives. And it's like in that moment we're like in the shoes of Tsmoov at this moment, because when they stated that, hey, you went to sleep on this information, it was like, we went to sleep on this information. Because you can see like they give the breakdown of the gun, and he says, I'm going to claim it.
Yep.
But that was it. Like we moved on. Agira's looking at him saying, I'm gonna keep my eye on you.
Right.
And like my thing is, the story, like I never felt as if it was like rushed. Everything was like perfect. Agira's still keeping her eye on him.
Yeah, I feel like there is a lot of attention that's given to detail, and we just don't know the full extent of it. But I think you kind of you're having a keener eye at this current moment, because you're seeing that. You're starting to see it. This is at play, but I do know that there's a lot of pieces here at play. I do know that there's a lot of concepts, a lot of deduction that's at play in this series, even if it's too early for you to like really know. One of the examples of that, which you kind of touched on, and I can see where you get in that like spider sense that's tingling when you brought up the eyes. We noticed that the eyes were the part that we did get the color from. We also noticed, it's something else that you probably noticed, the eye styles of the characters are different.
Yep.
So, and here's the thing, in order to, when you went back to like westerns and spaghetti western stuff like that, sleight of hand was obviously important for quick draw, but also the eyes. The eyes were super important. Our character, and we noticed the person with the keenest sense of eyes outside of Tsmoov has completely different eyes that kind of like take over, right? There's that emphasis there. And then when we think of a quick draw and we think of sleight of hands, that's arms, that's your hands and your arms. that enables you to be able to do that. Jimmu has that emphasis with the Marshal King's arms, and the fact that the Marshal King previously was, and his father, after the Marshal King, had these emphasized arms. These are elements that I feel like we don't know all of the details to at this current moment, but it's probably going to be something deeper to that to come down the line. It's like, what else could possibly come down the line in that? Is there going to be like I don't even know, but like there's so much that that can possibly be introduced from that. Whether it's like a sense, like something that when you just think of like the traits that would be attributed to either a desperado or a marshal or a ranger, or when you think about the traits that might be with them, being able to like something like being able to pick up on when things are about to go dangerous. Like when you think about a lot of those Western, so how like if the outlaw comes into the room, they stop playing the card games, the person stops pouring the drink, and then they know like I'm not welcome, or the other way around with the marshal into the saloon, like stuff like that. How exactly that's gonna play a part, and is that even something that could be utilized within like a power for some of these characters that we're meeting? It can go so many different ways.
Now, my
question
question is, do you think it's going to be some type of power scaling in here? Is it going to be based off, is it going to be something called Nin, like Hunter x Hunter, or Ki as in Naruto? No. Or do you think it's just going to be based off of how well they draw their gun?
That's what I'm thinking, but I can't like 100% say, oh no, it's definitely going to be one way or the other. It's not enough information that we have at this point, but it would be really cool if they introduced some sense of some sort of stuff. Like I like really like the idea of that, but at the same time, because it is just kind of westerns and the sci-fi elements are more or less attached to weaponry and eyesight, I don't know. I don't think that it's necessary per se, because you could just kind of stay in the realm of just like reflexes. It could just literally simply be reflexes. Sleight of hand is a reflex. Peripheral vision is a reflex. So they could just have super reflexes. It could be a whole series about the different types of super reflexes somebody could have. Like muscular, hyperextensive muscles and stuff like that. Like where this person can make their bones like a worm, and it allows for them to snap their shot. You could do little things like that. Kind of going back to One Piece. Remember when Zoro? I can't remember. I think this was during the when they were fighting the lightning like devil fruit. Who was that? Inuru?
I think
was that
so.
His name? Something like that. I think it was during that arc. The person who Zoro had to face, like they had this thing where like they could like snap their limbs. Maybe that wasn't during that arc, but it was somewhere around there where I remember the person Zoro, they like dislocate their arms and their limbs, and it kind of, even though like, because at that point in One Piece we didn't have an like hockey really. It was just kind of like, what can devil fruits do? And then I actually think in that arc we saw Zoro give us like our first taste of like what hockey essentially was. We maybe had some more instances of it before then, but it was like very vague at that point.
Yeah.
So the stuff that they were telling us was more so off like superhuman ability. And it's making me think that this show could take a page out of the early One Piece days and just kind of focus on like that superhuman ability to things that actual humans have, such as keen eyesight and sleight of hand, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Flexibility, things like, just stuff that we all actually have. And I still think that it would be a great series if they stay in that direction. Well, if they didn't have any like, that's fine.
Yep. My big thing is the way Chapter 7 ended, or led into the ending, where Jim was like, my time here is done. I got what I needed from the school. I got the arms. I have the gun. I'm off. I'm done. Bro, you was just at school for like a day and a half. Like what? Like
Yeah,
I honestly wish we
I
could
don't
have.
get that.
I'm be real with you. I honestly wish. I hope because we the next chapter doesn't come out for another 5 days from this point.
Hmm.
Um, I'm strongly hoping he has some type of not administrative role, but he comes back so he can learn something new from the history. And I like how Agira's like, I'm going to get stronger. Like I don't want to be left behind. I said I'm going to be with you through this whole thing, and it's like subtle hints. You can see that Agira is pretty much Hinata, and Mira, she's not trash, but she's like Sakura from Naruto, because Naruto wanted Sakura first, even though she wanted Sasuke,
Yeah.
and Agira's like Hinata, like I'm gonna stay by you, I'm gonna keep my eye on you, all that other good stuff. And Agira, like, how old is Jinmu? Because Agira's like 36, from what she was
I have no
stating.
clue. They all look like they older. It's
Yeah,
really weird. And I think they even mentioned that. I think they mentioned that in that same chapter where they said her age, where like most of the people enrolled are like older. They're like in mid 20s. And then he was like, "Oh, how old are you?" And she was like 36. It's like I think they're all like that. I think that Jimu is probably like 24, somewhere in that range, or like 28. They I gotta go back over that part because
because
they may have
Mira's
actually even
Mira's
said his
like
age.
18, 19. Like she's
Is
young,
she?
young.
Did they say it? They said 18.
I could have sworn it was like 18, 19, maybe 20. She was like young.
I remember them saying that most people who enroll are a little bit older. Let me get this chapter pulled up. But yeah, it's I do agree. I completely, and I was going to ask
Hmm.
you. I don't like the idea. Um, I really do not like the idea of him leaving. Like
Yeah,
this idea of him. This is not an arc that I
but
would have been, or a series that I would not have been mad at having like a training arc or having like a
well, here's the
human
thing.
body arc.
If you remember, Aguirre stated, you cannot go on this path by yourself. You have to have support. So he's going to
Yeah,
eventually have to come back. But the thing is, what like do we get a big bad starting up after this? Because I know this is literally just an introduction. These first 7 chapters were introductions. Usually manga chapters are like 2 chapters for an intro for certain main characters, certain side characters, and then we get into the story. But we only have it took 7 chapters for us to get that.
yeah, yep. And just to kind of double back to over the age thing, I found the exact chapter that was in this in chapter 3. Um, Agira says, um, "I'm not a kid. I'll have you know that I'm 36 and regarded as quite the fine lady." And then that's when Jimu was like, and then she says, "Just about everyone here is over 30." And Mira is actually the youngest at 20.
Yeah, 20.
I got 29 here.
So right here,
It
yeah.
is.
I'm a sucker for banana jam because I love bread. Little lady, what are you only eating
Yep.
bread? Just about everybody here is 40. Huh.
Oh,
Regarded
you got 40. It's a translation here, so I wonder what it really is.
what?
Because I have on my translation, I have,
Well,
and
this
on
is
yours,
on
you
Manga
have.
Plus.
Why is it different translations for both of us? Because I'm on that too.
I'm not a
And
kid. I'll have you know that I'm 36 and regarded as quite the fine lady. You've even got kitty taste. And I like how like they have the explanation of why he didn't shoot at her. Mira's the
yeah,
youngest. She enrolled early. Wow. Awesome. So that means Jin Mu is about 30, 35, maybe? I can't
yeah.
see him being 40 and they
I
try
don't
and
see him
pit them
being
together.
40. I don't see him being 40,
Maybe the
but yeah,
same
like,
age as Agira?
yeah, as either maybe, or he could even be
A hair
like
younger?
maybe 30. Like he might be a hair older than Mira.
Right.
where it's like she's 29 and he's like 30, because it does look like they setting up for a possible romantic thing there. Whereas I feel like Agira is more like, it's not like, even though right now it might be translated more affection and infatuation,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like that. I get this vibe that their role is gonna turn more. You're my right hand man.
It'll be
'Cause
competition.
So far, nobody. Because here's an interesting point, though. That eyesight, him having essentially somebody else that has the ability to see as fast as he can, that sounds like somebody that you would need to have as right hand in this world. That makes me feel
Like maybe their eyesight might be lead to their power level, give them the ability
maybe
to do
it
some
very
things.
well could be something around eyesight, and then that also gives the idea of, can they have augmentations to eyesight?
Now,
Because
oh, like a Keke Genkai.
yeah, like something in that realm,
No.
or it could, but check this out, in this world, because think about it like this: when we saw how the like the King Magnum or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the Marshal King's gun was wrapped up as, when we saw the security that was under it,
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that stood out to me is, wow, that's pretty advanced.
But here's the thing,
That
though.
didn't seem like,
But there
mhm,
was no security though. Like
that
Jimmu just
thing,
walked down.
that was
Yeah,
encasing,
it
not
was
security
holding it.
guards, but that.
Yeah, it was holding
Mhm.
it. But if someone got their hands on it, I don't think they really care if you got it. Yeah,
No,
you can
because
shoot
most
it. It's
people knew
gonna
they,
blow
because
half your
most
body
people
off.
couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Right, most people couldn't. That was the security, was the reputation of the weapon.
Now,
But
am
what I'm
I?
saying is that thing that was like holding it, that was
Mm-hmm.
underground, that in and of itself looked more advanced. So
Right.
yes, the normal frame of thought is like, okay, eye abilities from everything that we've been used to. You think about Naruto, you think about like Naruto and stuff like that, where it's like Sharingans and like there's actual like eye changes, different eye structures and abilities, and like legit abilities that's tied to the. It could be augmentations, like a pair of glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody got the who is that wear glasses? That
Sarada.
Vash and Trigun.
Oh, Vast and Trigon. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Does
I
he
thought.
wear glasses too?
Yeah, he
But
does.
like, it could be something where somebody rocking like the Vash eyeglasses, but they like super eyeglasses, like they're very
Yeah.
advanced eyeglasses that help you to predict things or whatever. It could be something
So
like that too.
one other thing about their eyes, though, in regards to the statement he made when he said why he didn't shoot her. Well, she and I are in the same class, which means
Mm-hmm.
we're on the same side.
Right.
Tesla's skill be damned. She ain't someone to point a gun at. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe in that moment he noticed that, and yeah, it looked like he got flustered, like just to play the game, to be like, "Hey, that's why I messed up." Aha! No,
Mm-hmm.
no, he did that on purpose. He knows that she has some crazy ability. Why she's the fastest gun in
Right.
in their land. So with that being said, I know like we're not done. Like with him leaving the school, we're not done with Mira and him. It's just we got to see where this goes. How soon does Mira come back?
Right.
So honestly,
I don't
from
know.
start to finish, from like not start to finish because we ain't finished, but from the start of chapter 7 and the end of chapter 1 and the end of chapter 7, I honestly would give this 8.5 out of 10.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. It was very ground. It was very
Grounded.
not like more than grounded though. It was just like, all right, listen, this is what we want to convey, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna give you a lot of information, but it's gonna be very enjoyable. And here, just if you can get excited within what we can tell from these 7 what we can actually write in these 7 chapters, then this will likely be a series that you'll be able to enjoy. Um, in regards to pacing, it has seemed a little bit fast to start a series,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also a little too quick to say too much in regards to that,
Yep.
because we don't know exactly. It's still so much to tell, and we don't know exactly how that's gonna all play out. But or at least that's what we believe. But even with that fast pacing, I do like how they were able to tell us about the Marshal King, tell us about his background and his dad, tell us about the school, introduce us to some new characters, and then also establish his power. To be able to just kind of knock those things out, it makes me feel like this is just what's designed to open the story up further, because now you kind of have at least and it might maybe the next, like, let's say 3 chapters, right, continues that. I think that is okay with how, like, even if the pacing is fast, I think that is okay in this case, because that information they might be using the first 10 chapters or the first 15 chapters or the first 20 chapters to just give us the idea of what is this world and what to expect from this world and who these different people are in this world. So I'm not mad at it. And I, again, because of all of the angles that so far it shows it could possibly go in, or things that it could possibly tackle, I think that's fine. And I think that what'll happen is that it'll even out, and the pace won't always be this fast going forward in the series.
All right. Well, with that being said, we still trying to decide on how often we will do these. It looks like we'll probably be doing maybe monthly, because we got 7 chapters in. Give it about 3-4 for a build up, so that we can provide you guys with some real good content instead of like a quick 5-minute video. But highly recommend, high key recommend you guys start reading this. I know some people like it to build up. You got a good build up. 7 chapters. First chapter is about 50 pages. Second chapter is about 45, and then it evens out to the usual manga 18 to 20 chapters. Great pacing, very enjoyable storylines. It's nothing really new, because it seems like they always go around the same rotation when it comes to these action stories for animes. But it was a little bit different with him coming to kill his father at first. You got anything, Crocos, before we knock this off?
No, just go look. It's to me, I don't know how many people have seen like Western anime, maybe ignorant to it. But if you haven't, and you're like me, it's definitely a new experience. So I would definitely recommend that you just kind of check it out, see what it's going for. And yeah, the story is pretty solid. It's still very early, but it's only 7 chapters. It's plenty of content in those 7 chapters, so definitely try to give it a read if you get an opportunity to.
All right. With that being said, we'll be back with some more in the next coming weeks. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that bell for the alert whenever new stuff comes in. Continue to check us out every Sunday or Monday, depending on how life be life, and holidays stuff happens. But yeah, thank you for rocking with us. Let us know in the comments if you read this, or if you're willing to read this, or go out your way to read this. Let us know how you feel about the first 7 chapters. We'll bite back, respond to you guys, give us our thoughts. If you have any questions, we'll bring it on to the next one when we're discussing chapter 8 to 11 or chapter 8 to 12, depending on where we stand with things in this world we call life. Once again, it's your boy Tsmoov, your boy Crocos. We out.
These dreams on the road to riches, focus on the ticket, maximize my means. It's like now I'm just trying to flow. There's a couple holes up in this boat. Dose my mind just so I can quote. They focus on the dollar, feel like I'm a migrant, just touch a new island every time I smoke. Regardless, ain't no way I'ma miss my target when I got it locked up in my scope.